Whispers of the Mothman. The little town of Dunwich, nestled in the Appalachian foothills, was an unremarkable place. With its sleepy streets lined with old oak trees and quaint houses, it looked as if time had forgotten it. Residents went about their lives as expected, but the one thing they could not escape was the heavy presence of the legend, the Mothman. It started with whispers at the diner, where the old-timers would share stories over steaming cups of coffee about a tall, dark figure with enormous wings. He was said to appear when disasters were looming, a harbinger of doom. Most scoffed at the stories, but a chill would settle in the room each time someone dared to mention his name. 17-year-old Lucy Carter was new to Dunwich, having moved from the city with her family to escape the fast-paced life they once led. She was eager to fit in and make friends, but the rumors about the Mothman piqued her curiosity. One dreary afternoon, her friend Tommy, a local who had lived there all his life, said nonchalantly, "You know they say he appears when something bad is going to happen, right?" "What do you mean?" Lucy leaned in, intrigued. Tommy looked around, lowered his voice, and said, "Last month, old Mrs. Hudson saw him near the bridge, and the very next day, her house burned down. It's like he's a warning." "Sounds like a myth to scare kids," Lucy replied, half smirking, but a knot formed in her stomach. Despite the skepticism, something warmed within her as she found herself drawn to the thought of the Mothman. Maybe it was the thrill of the unknown, or perhaps just the allure of a good, ghostly story fueling her imagination. But for every thrill, there was an unease creeping into her heart. One night, Lucy, feeling restless, sneaked out of her house for a stroll under the moonlight. The air was thick and heavy as a fine mist began to weave through the trees, swirling around her like soft whispers. As she walked, she found herself gravitating toward the old bridge, Mothman Country, Tommy had called it. As she reached the wrought iron structure, the wind picked up, howling through the trees, mimicking distant cries. Lucy hesitated. Shadows flitted out of the corner of her eyes, but she shook them off. Just the darkness playing tricks. She leaned over the railing, staring into the depths of the water below. Then, a rustling broke the silence, and instinctively, her heart raced. She turned, looking into the thick underbrush where the sound had come from. The darkness pulsed, and then, there it was. A tall, shadowy figure emerged, cloaked in midnight, its enormous wings rustling softly in the night breeze. It was the Mothman. Fear gripped Lucy as she stumbled back, her heart pounding painfully against her rib cage. She could see its eyes, glimmering orbs of red that glowed in the night. For a moment, they locked gazes, and in that overwhelming fear, a strange connection ignited within her. She felt an inexplicable urge to understand the creature, to learn why it was here. It didn't feel monstrous, it felt mournful, a lost spirit tethered to the earth. Suddenly, it spread its wings wide, casting a shadow over her. A cold gust of wind blew through, and Lucy caught glimpses of images flashing in her mind, flashes of fire, screams, and despair. Each image came quick and ferocious, sending tremors through her limbs. The Mothman wasn't a dark omen, it was a warning. Lucy's heart raced as the visions faded. She had to warn them. "Please, stop," she cried, her voice piercing the heavy silence. "What do you want?" Instantly, the visions stopped, and it tilted its head like it was trying to understand her. For just a moment, the air was alive with something unexplainable, an energy that felt as though it bridged two realms. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the Mothman swept back into the depths of the forest, leaving behind only a lingering chill. Lucy sprinted home, her mind racing. She barely slept that night, haunted by what she had seen. The next day, she gathered her friends, urging them to spread the word to be careful, to prepare for the worst. 2 days later, the warning was validated when a massive storm rolled in, severing power lines and sending debris flying everywhere. Trees snapped like twigs, and the river began to overflow dangerously. The Mothman had come to warn them, and Lucy was thankful she had heeded its call. After the storm passed, life trudged on in Dunwich, but something felt different. The town felt lighter, though the heaviness of dread still lingered. And while she would never forget the Mothman standing guard over the bridge that fateful night, Lucy knew now that even in darkness, there was hope. The legend of the Mothman was more than just a tale, It was a reminder that sometimes, those who seem frightening are just trying to protect us from what we cannot see.